So why is art able to give these transcendent feelings? And how is it so effective at turning the tides of culture? To look at these questions, I actually wanted to get back to Collingwood and some of the things that he says about this. Collingwood states that the reason art is so powerful at driving civilizations and shaping culture is because it connects with us on an emotional level. And we don't see it coming. It sneaks in the back door when we have our guard down and we've lowered our defenses, and it's able to connect and reach to our heart. I remember when I was in grad school, one of the things that I kept hearing over and over and over again is that art needs to show, but not tell. It doesn't need to be forceful or controlling. It doesn't need to tell the viewer what they should think or make demands from the viewer. In grad school, they said that that's what propaganda art is for. And in thinking about this, I think this is why the church struggles to incorporate art sometimes, because there's the urgency to the gospel that sometimes compels people to just dump information and whack people with the truth. And I think that this is where art could be most beneficial, because instead of telling people what to think, it can invite the viewer to just come on a journey with you, to meet them where they are and to connect with the viewer on an emotional level. And I think that this is where the rubber meets the road, when it comes to the power of the visual arts and the power of art in the world and the power of art in the church. Because art has a way of getting to the emotions in a way that logic and rationalism cannot. And that's because art reaches people emotionally. I'm remembering when my oldest daughter, Eden, when she was 4, there'd be sometimes these occasions when she would go and watch a kid's show that I didn't watch. And so I would ask her about it afterward. And it was so funny. I remember she would describe it to me, not based on the sequence of events, but on the emotions that she felt when she watched it. It was the craziest thing. She would say, well, it started off happy and then it got a little sad, but then it got happy again, and then it got really sad, and then it got really sad, but then it started getting happier again. And that's how she would describe it to me. It was the craziest thing. And she was just so in tune with how her emotions were being carried the whole time. And so I don't know. I want you to think about this. What makes art so good at making us feel something? Why does it affect us on the emotional level? Why do we cry real tears? And why do we want to engage with art that has the power to do this? I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but this actually gets me to what Aristotle would claim to be one of the most important roles of art, and its ability to actually engage our emotion. We spoke about how Aristotle had a different view of art than Plato, and that's because he saw that art had a way of keeping us emotionally balanced. He actually noticed that we enjoy engaging with art even if it makes us sad or scared. Think about it. When art is always happy, it's actually not as fulfilling. We need some kind of rub or tension, and that's because we need to process the complexities of our own experiences. So this is what Aristotle calls catharsis, this kind of emotional purge. And he actually saw this emotional catharsis to be the aim of art and tragedy, to allow the viewers to experience sensations of pity and fear, love and sadness, and then to be able to get up and leave the experience feeling cleansed somehow. with a deeper understanding of what it means to be human. And I like this because I think Aristotle was really tapping into art's greatest strength. And that is its ability to connect with people at the emotional level. I've even heard some artists say that we don't make art, we capture emotions. And I think this is true across the board, for the musician, the poet, the interior architect. I mean, your art perhaps is the most powerful when it's able to connect with people at the emotional, like, gut level. And I think this is really important because, and particularly when you realize why it's important to connect with people emotionally. But before I got into this material, I didn't know this, but research actually indicates that the majority of our decisions are emotional decisions. And what I think is interesting is that it actually doesn't matter whether you scored a T or an F on the Myers-Briggs, thinker or feeler, because ultimately 96% of our decisions are emotional. And that's why it's a battle over our hearts, over our desires. And so I guess I just want to conclude by saying that if our decisions are largely driven by our emotions, and one of the best ways to connect with people emotionally is through art, I think we can all see that art has an incredible role and an incredible power to change history. Isn't this exciting? To change how we view others, to change how we view ourselves. Art allows us to grasp the complexity of our human experience and the complexity of our Creator. And so I'm so grateful that God has given us the incredible gift of art, because by creating art, we not only assert our humanity, we can shape it as well. So just something to think about as we continue to make our way through this important material.